Hey guys, it's Chloe. Welcome back or welcome to my channel. Today I'm out here with my Toyota Tacoma for a fun day of off-roading. But while I was here, I thought I would make a quick video for you guys because this truck is about to turn 4 years old now. And that is just so crazy for me to think about because this truck has changed my life in so many different ways. This is such a great vehicle in both form and function, and we've been through a lot together the last couple years, from when I was in school when I first bought this truck to driving across the country with my dad and all my stuff packed from college in the bed of the truck, to all the different off-road trips I've done, including ones like this, and even the everyday, just daily driving to work. I have so many memories because of my Tacoma. But anyways, throughout all those years, my truck has changed quite a bit too. It's a 2019 TRD off-road in the color Silver Sky Metallic, and while at first glance it might look pretty similar to how you buy these trucks off the dealership lot, I've actually done quite a few modifications and I've spent a lot of time building up this truck. So that's what this video is going to be all about, my 4-year build walk around of my Toyota Tacoma. I think it's important to give you guys some context because my main intent with building this truck was for it to essentially wear a lot of different hats. First and foremost, be a reliable and comfortable daily driver. I needed something that was going to take me to class every day in the harsh New York weather, and something now that can take me to work every single day. But also, I wanted a little more capability for the times I'm driving this truck off the pavement like today. Basically, I wanted a beefed up stock Tacoma, if that makes any sense. Something that could just do a little bit more than how these trucks come straight out of the box. I tried not to go too crazy and just gut out all the core things that Toyota spent a lot of time and money, not to mention, testing and engineering that make this truck so great. That's what I wanted to maintain, but I also wanted to make upgrades here and there for areas that I thought could be improved upon. So I've got my phone out because I literally had to write a list of everything I did so I wouldn't be skipping over something, but let's get started on the front of my truck. First of all, we have these headlights. Now, this is an OEM genuine Toyota part, but originally my truck came with the older style halogen headlights. These were introduced in the Tacoma lineup in the 2020 model, so it wasn't even an option for my 2019s, but when they came out, I really liked them. I wanted to upgrade from halogen to LED, and I thought they looked really nice with the sequential turn signal, so I got them from Sparks Parts, which is an OEM authorized Toyota parts seller. Bought a harness from a company called FBC that made my wiring compatible with these headlights, and yeah, so changed the headlights. I did kind of the same thing with the grille. So my 2019 off-road came with just a different style grille that had a chrome surround. I liked it, but when the 2020 models came out, they also upgraded the grille styles. So I bought one from someone who was taking theirs off of their truck, installed this style instead. And also, I added a front camera to the grille. A front camera was also not an option back in 2019, so that is aftermarket, but I've gotten a lot of really good use out of that. Perhaps the biggest thing I changed on the front end of my truck was installing this steel bumper. Now, this bumper is from 4-Wheel Parts. I really liked how modular it was. In my opinion, it looks pretty factory, but it does have this integrated bull bar for a little bit more of an aggressive look, and obviously the protection for off-road, of course. There were these hole cutouts for some cube lights I added on. There's also hole cutouts so you can add a light bar underneath the bull bar, but on top of the bumper. I haven't done that, but the cutouts are there. But it's also adaptable in the sense that 4-Wheel Parts sells these wing add-ons that you can put on the sides if I ever wanted to go with kind of like a full width bumper. I don't think I'm gonna go that route, but I liked the thought of having the option to do that. But yeah, I really like this front bumper and it's treated me well for a year. It was just very, very difficult to install. I almost cried during that install because this thing was so heavy and difficult to lift up. And I had to cut a little bit on my factory bumper, which was a little bit scary, but again, super happy with this. One of the first modifications I actually made a video about here on my channel were these Baja Designs Squadron SAE fog lights. These of course replaced my OEM ones, which were halogen, and I found these to be much brighter, giving me better visibility off-road, but these are still street legal. I believe that's what SAE means. And actually, I literally just saw this week that Baja Designs announced that they had a newer version of this fog light, so I've been toying with the idea of changing my existing ones out for those. I also have two different covers, so I have the clear one, which is the one I have right now, and the amber color, which is really great for dusty conditions and foggy conditions. I switch back and forth quite a bit, but most of the time I'm running the clear ones. This TRD skid plate is something I've gotten so much use out of. This is a factory part from Toyota, but the TRD off-roads do not come with this exact skid plate. They come with a steel one that is a much thinner gauge. This thing is aluminum, but if you can tell, I have a lot of dings and off-road scratches, but this skid plate has protected my truck very, very well. I have done a couple things under the hood, not super exciting like a supercharger or anything, but just some basic things like what you just saw when I opened up my hood. I've got the red line tuning hood struts, which I picked up from Tacoma Beast, like many other modifications I've done to this truck. That was a modification that you don't think makes a big difference until after you've installed them. I really like that the prop rod isn't in the way when I'm like changing my oil or changing filters. I know that's such a minor thing. Just be warned, if you decide to install these yourself, you do have to drill into your hood. And that was a little nerve-wracking to me because I had a friend actually drill through their hood because he went too hard. But when installed properly, these things are nothing but great. I also installed this TRD cold air intake. This is another factory OEM part from Toyota, but I don't believe it comes on the TRD off-road trim, or it's an option. Pretty easy to do. I really like that it comes with a reusable filter that you can wash. So in a sense, I think this one pays for itself over time. I'm not sure if it makes a huge difference in power. I thought one time I saw on Toyota's website some article with some dyno figures they had with and without this intake. I could be wrong though, but I do think it changes the sound. And I made a video installing this and comparing the before and after with this product if you want to see more detail on that. The last thing I have here under the hood is basically just an auxiliary fuse block wiring setup, because I've got the cube lights, I've got the front camera, I've got an air compressor, and I wanted a way to basically localize all of that wiring. So this box is actually just something you can get off of Amazon, and the way I mounted it was actually a subscriber 3D prints these brackets to hold this exact box and relocate this relay box back here, because originally it was where this box was sitting. And I think it came out really clean. It's pretty organized, at least compared to what I had before. So this has helped out quite a bit, and I highly recommend something like this if you're planning to add extra accessories and stuff. My most popular video topics here on my YouTube channel are always about wheels, tires, and suspension, so that's what we're going to talk about next. I've got 17-inch TRD wheels. These are, of course, a factory Toyota part, but they were meant to be put on the 4Runner TRD Pros. I believe they are a +4 offset, which means they sit more inwards towards the truck, a little bit of a less aggressive stance, maybe less than people might like, but at the same time, that also helps with larger tire fitment. The tires I have are 265/70 R17 BF Goodrich KO2 tires. This is a brand new set I just got, but I ran the same exact tire in the same exact size for the first 50,000 miles on my truck. I think the KO2s really live up to their name and reputation, and they really do provide a great balance of on-road comfort as well as off-road capability. So in terms of suspension up here in the front, I've done quite a bit. I took off the factory Bilstein shocks and replaced them with Fox 2.5 Performance Elite Series shocks, which, as you guys know, if you've watched my channel, I really love. These shocks have an adjustable preload collar, which I have set to give me 1.5 inches of lift. You can check out my install video if you want to see more detail, but in short, basically you can just turn that preload collar with a spanner wrench that puts more preload on the spring, giving you more lift, or you could turn it the opposite way and you'll get a lower ride height. I really enjoyed these remote reservoirs. They allow the shock to hold more oil, and these shocks also have the dual speed compression knob, so you can adjust for high or low speed compression, which I have found very useful out in the desert. And I've got to say, these shocks have held up so well. From the first time I went off-roading and tested them, I went pretty hard on them and I've had no issues, and I've really liked them. Some of you might remember I also got these shocks tuned professionally by AccuTune Off-Road. That really made an improvement in my ride quality, and I want to say that the reason I got these shocks was not just because I wanted better off-road performance. I would argue that I actually get more use on-road out of them because I just tend to drive this truck more on-road than off-road in the first place. I'm so happy daily driving my truck because the ride feels great, and it really is hard for me to explain this over video to you guys because suspension really has to be felt and experienced. But my truck rides so much better than it did before. It's a little bit difficult for me to show you guys the rear suspension without taking off my tire, but I've got, of course, the Fox Performance Elite shocks here in the rear as well. For a little bit of a lift, I had these Deaver N98 leaf springs installed. These replace my factory leaf springs, and I have a whole video collaboration I did with AccuTune Off-Road about why I did that, but these leaf springs give me about 1.5 to 2 inches of lift up here in the rear. You might also be able to see I've got these upgraded bump stops. This is a kit from AccuTune Off-Road. It's their bump stop and U-bolt flip kit, so my U-bolts are now flipped the other way for a little bit more ground clearance back here. The last thing I have up here in the front in terms of suspension are my Elevate upper control arms. These are billet aluminum arms. They're much beefier than the stock arms were, but the main reason I got them was really because they allowed for more adjustability. Next up, the tail lights, which are still the stock factory tail lights. I kept those on, but I did install the Miso Customs Total Tail Stage 1 kit, which basically makes them a little bit brighter and switches the turn signal around so it doesn't use the top portion of your tail light as the turn signal. It now uses the bottom portion to give you amber turn signals. I added the tailgate inserts to the stamped lettering on the back that says Tacoma. I specifically got the chrome ones. Chrome is kind of an unconventional and sometimes unpopular choice from what I heard, but I like the way it looks. Going along with the chrome theme a little bit more, I also added the chrome exhaust tip, which was an OEM Toyota part. I am so sorry to all the chrome haters out there. I know there's a lot of you, but I actually really like chrome and don't mind it. I feel like I've done quite a bit here in the bed of my truck. So obviously the biggest thing, and another thing I talk a lot about here on my channel, is the decked drawer system, which takes up about 2/3 of my bed space, but adds these lockable drawers where I can store my tools securely and dryly, air up accessories, tie downs, more tools, filming equipment, and even a 1.5 ton jack. You guys who watch the channel already know how much I love my deck drawers. I don't think they're 100% for everyone, but for someone like me, the decked was a really fantastic product. I've also got some MaxTrax MK2s that are mounted to my deck via this really awesome mount by Expedition Essentials. These are really fantastic, these billet tie downs that go on the factory bed rails. My tie down hooks actually fit all the way around them based off of their unique design, and also they're more low profile than the factory ones, as well as much stronger and more secure. I also have these bed stiffeners from Cali Raised LED. The purpose of bed stiffeners are really because this Tacoma bed is made out of a composite plastic fiberglass situation. So Tacoma beds tend to expand and sometimes even over time crack. I don't have a bed rack or I don't have a camper, but bed stiffeners help prevent any of those issues down the line. And I really like these ones because they add extra tie down points, which was something I lost with the deck drawers. And I've got an extra bottle opener here. Because I do like to off-road, having trail protection was pretty important to me from the start. So I have these rock sliders I got locally made by Fab Zone Armor here in San Diego. He just does a fantastic job. Quality of the welds are really high. I really like the kick-out design as well. And rock sliders are also great protection for other people in the parking lot opening their doors when they're parked too close next to you. And also double as a good step. Underneath the truck, I already talked about the front TRD skid plate, but right behind that, I've got the Miller Cat Shield. This is their new heavy duty one. It's made out of a super thick gauge steel, and it really can double as a skid plate, although its main purpose is to prevent catalytic converter theft. Then right behind the Cat Shield, I've got my transfer case skid plate from Cali Raised LED. And then also I replaced the OEM gas tank plastic skid plate with an aluminum one from Cali Raised LED as well. Now onto the things I've done inside my truck. The biggest thing I did on the inside of my truck was probably add these seat covers. So these are from PRP. Previously, I had the cloth seats and I wanted something a little bit more protective. You all know I have a dog and I like to go off-roading, so the inside of this truck does get pretty messy pretty quickly. So these have helped out so much. And I get a lot of questions about if these seats get really hot since the marine gray vinyl isn't really breathable. And they do, but for the most part, that doesn't bother me, but something to keep in mind if you're thinking about these. But anyways, they have these built-in flaps. So if your side airbag were to ever deploy, this piece right here isn't stitched on and would allow your airbags to deploy. So that's something I liked. These seat jackers have made my seating position insanely more comfortable. And as you can see, I don't have the powered seats, so I can't speak for how much improvement you get if you have the powered seats, but this helps my back and legs not feel so sore on longer drives. And also they allow me to clear enough room to run a mount underneath here where I store my ARB air compressor. So yep, as you can see, there's an air compressor under there. And also I was able to mount my fire extinguisher here because of this front multi-mount panel that attaches to the seat jackers. So I really do love the versatility and utility that they provide. This right here is a product I am so happy exists because for the longest time, I could not find an OEM style switch panel that could fit here. Before, my Tacoma didn't provide me with enough blank spots to put various switches for different accessories. Like I said, I've got the front camera, I've got some cube lights, so I wanted a place to put these switches that looked OEM and factory. The company Guild Outfitters sells these insert switch panels that are actually modular, so you can change up your own configuration if you add more accessories or take some away. But I just love that the fit and finish really does look and feel OEM. The biggest change I made to my interior in the last year was installing this 10-inch head unit. I have made many videos about this head unit because it is also a very popular modification people like to discuss here on my channel. But the reason I did it was because back in 2019, the head units did not come with Apple CarPlay. Apple CarPlay was something I wanted, but always held back on because I couldn't find an aftermarket radio I trusted as much as was the OEM one. And then after about 3 years, the Bluetooth in my factory head unit stopped working. Even after trips to the dealership to have it reset, doing a factory reset on that radio, I could live without CarPlay, but I really couldn't live without Bluetooth. So I decided to just switch it out. I saw the Tacoma Beast video on them installing this in their truck, and I decided to take a leap of faith, ordered one from them, and I have absolutely loved this. And another thing about this head unit is that adding cameras is very, very easy. If that matters to you, doing that with the stock head unit is a little bit more difficult. With this head unit, you can easily add 4 camera inputs. Another product that I insanely and very highly recommend is the Screen Protect, which is basically a high quality protector that goes over your instrument cluster to prevent any scratches on the plastic and also hide existing scratches. That was something that annoyed me. Like the first 5,000 miles I got my truck, I had created so many swirl marks just from wiping dust off of this instrument cluster, which got really annoying to look at. So my Screen Protect hit all of those, and now I can touch this. There isn't any fingerprint trace left behind and no scratches left behind as well. I've done a lot of stylistic modifications on the inside too, so I added this black ring cover. If you guys remember in my Amazon video, I looked for cheap Tacoma mods. This is one of them, and I actually really like the way they look, so I kept them on there. I added these chrome inserts in the glove box where the letters spell out Tacoma. I literally remember doing this like the week I bought this truck. It was before I made YouTube videos, so this might have been like the first modification I did to my truck, but I like the way it makes the branding pop out a little bit more. I also have these cup holder inserts I got from Tough Skins. So I've got 2 here and 2 up here in the front as well, which are really great for muffling the sound of cups rattling in these cup holders. I also got this color match accent strip from Tough Skins and added that on for a little bit of an extra flair. And Tough Skins also sells inserts that you can put here as well. Now up here in the front, something I really like is this tiny little dash cam. It's a Garmin Mini, and the way I power it is by utilizing power behind my rear view mirror. So Dongar Technologies basically makes an adapter that you can plug into the back of the mirror and also get out USB power, and that's how my dash cam is powered. So basically the mirror turns on anytime your truck turns on, which means my dash cam comes on every time I turn my truck on, which is what I want. I like that it is hidden. I like that there's no wires running down for power, or I didn't have to route any cables through my headliner. That was a fantastic mod. And then it's very difficult to see because during the day you can't really tell, but I have VLEDs, footwell lights that are so helpful during the nighttime. That's another modification that I really like because of its OEM style and quality. Basically, anytime you open the doors, the same way your interior lights come on, your footwell lights come on as well. So it's just another nice accent touch to the interior that provides great utility. So that is a walk around of what I've done to my Tacoma in these last 4 years. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I have a playlist of all the modification videos I've done about my Toyota Tacoma, which covers, I think, like 99% of these mods. So you can check that out if you want more detail, but I am so ready to hit the trails. I spent longer than I anticipated filming this video, but that's okay. I just love talking about my Tacoma. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you want to connect more with me, you can follow me on my Instagram. It is at Chloe Kuo Taco. I post more on there in real time, but other than that, I hope I will catch you in the next video. Bye guys.